Okay, hi guys. A lot of you wanted to know about Bitcoin. You were rather disappointed that I never got to it. So what prompted me to do this was I was interested in the rise of Bitcoin, the sudden fall off or dramatic fall off. Just have a look here. Here is the graph, and you can see that it was fairly consistent along this line, and that line represents a value of $2,000, right? The consistent line. Then all of a sudden here, it just takes off massively to the peak that we had about November 2017, December 2017, and then of course sudden drop off, and it's been dropping off ever since. I think it's a little bit further down to here towards 3,000 recently. So, whoa, hey, get me a doctor. We've got a currency bipolar here, hey? Stuck on a roller coaster. Can't get me off of this ride. Right, now, a lot of people, including Peter Schiff, who was talking with Alex Jones, plus in the Financial Times, plus on Sky News. So from all media sources, people have been talking down Bitcoin, saying it's kind of gone to shit, and that'll be it. And this whole cryptocurrency thing has been an experiment. It's failed. Yeah, all the thing. So I was interested. Is it true? Because it seems to me, with Uranus heading into Taurus, Uranus, the sign of the internet, of new technology, Taurus, the sign of money, it seems to me exactly what we're moving towards is a digital currency. So it seems to me unlikely that this phenomenon has ended. Bitcoin, let's have a look at its chart. Okay, there you go. Ta-da. All right, so Bitcoin, whoa, it helps if I have the right way around, you see. Bitcoin is a Capricorn. Well, I think that it was launched on the 3rd of January 2009 in London. Very important that it's a Capricorn because it's all about money, currency, power, financial services, isn't it? It's got Leo rising and Moon in Aries, which I think is also significant because it's the industry leader, and Moon in Aries, it was the very first one. So it gave birth to a whole new phenomenon. The fact that it has Moon in Aries means it is subject to these dramatic rises and falls. It's quite a volatile instrument. Okay, it's got a whole lot of planets, just to show you there. Whole lot of planets down here in the 6th house. I think that's relevant because it is a highly technical thing. It's for the boffins. It's for the geeks, isn't it? It's not something for the average person. It's based on blockchain, and people who are involved in it know an incredible amount about computers, and about kind of, what would you say, computer science. So it's something that is based in what is really technical, possibly inaccessible to the average person. So while the whole currency is accessible to people, it is not really accessible in terms of the technology. It's something that people don't understand. Now, Pluto and Mars are conjunct in the 5th house. 5th house is the house of speculation. Now, what I think was going on with Bitcoin is some people wanted to damage its credibility. Obviously, like, what George Soros does in currency markets, where he does boom and bust in order to create whatever effect he's looking for. I think a lot of people wanted to sabotage the credibility of Bitcoin by sending it up so that loads of people bought into it, got really excited, and thought, wow, because there was a huge amount of, during its rise, a huge amount of Jupiter going on, solar arc Jupiter conjunct the descendant, and there's lots and lots of Jupiter conjunct the North Node, solar arc midheaven square Jupiter. There was a huge amount of confidence in it, but I think there was also manipulation. Because what Alex Jones was saying is he was getting offered a lot of money to promote it, to get his audience buying into it. And I think also QAnon was also getting people to buy into it by saying it's the kind of anti-establishment thing to do, or it might be the way to take on the establishment. So I think there was manipulation, getting people to buy into it, and then a lot of people got really disappointed now, lost their money and lost faith in it, and they're hoping that that'll be the way that they can kind of kill it off. So I think that was the idea. Now you've got a lot of people from, like I say, talking in mainstream media and alternate media who are saying that it's going to go to absolute zero. And I think that's also a manipulation. This chart is well placed. In terms of an electional chart, the moon is well placed. The moon does suffer an affliction from Mars, but it's also helped by Jupiter. So in terms of this whole chart, I think that this currently is around to stay. I think this was a kind of manipulated blip in it, and there might be more of that in terms of to ruin people's confidence in it. But I think once it returns to a level, like we saw back here, There you go. Once it returns to a level of about 2000, I think it'll stabilize and then begin more sort of steady organic growth. There could still be, a little bit of forking, up and downing, but I think it will grow. I think it's something that's here to stay. I think it's got a strong, solid chart that will enable it to be something that endures. I think it'll continue to be the leader, and I don't think it's done. So I'm not going to advise people to get into it or not get into it, because, all these things, like the stock market, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get burnt. But at the same time, I think it's here to stay. I'm excited. This is a comment from Philip Daniel Miles. I'm excited for when Uranus makes its second ingress into Taurus and for when Saturn meets Pluto. Yes, that's going to be a big time. Yeah, that could well be. I don't think QAnon's totally wrong in saying this could be the way to undermine the plutocrats and the globalists. It might still be a great way. And of course, it is still a way to have privacy within your banking, because it's not as traceable. I think it's got a lot of advantages, and it's part of a new trend, which is electronic currency. That's why I don't see it going anywhere. I think it's got a lot of legs. Bitcoin's chart looks solid. Yeah, it had a lot of Saturn in it, which brought it down, but it needed to be brought down. There was a bubble, just like there's a stock market bubble. Bubbles always burst, and there was a Bitcoin bubble, but that doesn't mean it's finished. So I'd be very skeptical of any expert who comes on and tries to tell you that it's going to go to nothing and it's going to just disappear as a thing. I think a lot of the smaller currencies probably will disappear, but I think Bitcoin will rise again, and there will be a new use for it and a new value. Someone said it's got no intrinsic value. Yeah, like fiat currency has got an intrinsic value. I think anyone who's commenting on Bitcoin might have a vested interest somewhere else to say it. So I'm thinking of making some more Bitcoin predictions, because it does seem to react specifically to when certain planets are triggered. But I want to look into that more before I actually come at you and say, well, I think it'll rise, I think it'll fall. I don't want to get into that right yet. But it does seem to follow specific patterns and to react to certain trigger points. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. And as I say, plenty more to come on this channel. Love you all.